we have to be careful to add nothing to our salvation. Not by works of righteousness, which you have done, but according to his mercy, he saved us. Now, after you get saved, God is going to begin to change you, change your thoughts, your ideas, how you live, he does. That's what he does. Listen, he came for the sick. He doesn't want you to fix yourself because, number one, you can't. Number two, his death, burial, and resurrection already did that. Believe it and allow him to do that through you. This is what Paul was trying to communicate. Colossians chapter 2, verse 4 says this. Paul wrote the book of Colossians as well. And he wrote these same words, similar words, to the Colossian church. I'm saying this, listen, so that no one will deceive you with arguments that sound reasonable. Trust me. There are people who are very, very convincing with their words. And they want to make you believe that you have to do something. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And you find yourself moving out west into a boarded up commune somewhere. Like, what happened? And that's drastic, but that's what happens. Listen, when I'm teaching you, when I'm sharing stuff with you, I expect you to try to find what I'm saying is wrong. I want you to do that. Don't just listen to me. Read the Bible. Check me out. Is that true, JP? I'm going to the Word. I hope you do. I don't want to try to deceive you in any way. I want to share the truth of the gospel. And you need to do the work to know that what I'm sharing is true. Don't just believe me. That's where things go south. Well, he's our leader. We'll just believe him. Don't do that because I'll let you down and do something stupid. Don't do that. You have a mind that God gave you. You have a heart that he wants to renew. And he does it through his word. That's what Paul is advocating for here. And he says it in Galatians and Colossians. I don't want you to be deceived by these people who are adding to the gospel. Verse 6. I like this one in particular, and I'll do it real quick. No street cred needed. Okay, I want to do a little poll because I thought this was funny when I was thinking about it. How many of you under 30 know what street cred is? How many of you under 20? 18? Okay, let's just stop this. How many in this room know what street cred is? Isn't that interesting? It's all the old people. Old peoples. Here's what street cred is. Here's what street cred is. And this is the fear, okay? Street cred means that if you do something that somebody else likes and approves of, then you can be a part of their group. You got cred. And you know this happens. They use this on Instagram all the time. This is like part of the algorithm. They want you to be like somebody else so you can have cred with your friends. But, I love this. Oh my goodness. Titus was like, nah, I don't think so. Paul, don't need the street cred. Here's what he says in verse 6. Now, from those recognized as important, religious leaders, what they once were makes no difference to me because God does not show favoritism. They added nothing to me. They didn't do anything to me. He did not care what they thought. He didn't want street cred. He didn't need street cred. Why? Because he had the gospel of Jesus. So, do you change your message to get cred with your friends? How about that last post? Yeah, I'm meddling, I know. Paul knew this. And these leaders had a very high reputation. We're going to talk about them in a second. But Paul was not impressed with their position or who they were. I like that. One of the things that concerns me all the time, and I'm very, I get concerned about this. There are certain people, guys or men or women that have, they've done a lot of work, they got a lot of degrees, they're a pastor, and they want to make sure that you know. Now, I understand and I appreciate when people call me that, pastor. I appreciate that. I'm not knocking that or you for saying that. That's respect and honor. But on the other side, when the person demands that you put them in a certain place, you better be careful. You better be careful. If I ever stand up here and say, well, you're going to call me Dr. Marr. Now, if you upset me, I might tell you that. Just saying. Just saying. But trust me, I am the last person who thinks highly of myself. Why? Because of the stuff that was done to me, the sin issues that people did to me, what people said to me. And quite frankly, I struggle with it just like you do. I don't see myself that way. And maybe God allowed that to keep me humble. I hope. We got to be very careful. And Paul was saying, I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. I'm not gonna give them a tip of the hat. I'm not going to do that. Galatians chapter 6, a little further in our study, says, if anyone considers himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Be very careful. Paul was careful as to not place himself in a position or bend to those who were in position. Now, does that mean you shouldn't respect your authority and submit to authority? Listen, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, we can go through the book, right? That there's some appropriate times that should happen in the church. But it all needs to be kept in balance. But Paul wanted to make sure that they understood. Don't think of yourself higher than you should. I'm not going to allow somebody's status to change how I live. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time because in the ultimate end, we're all humans and we just want people to like us. And we're willing sometimes to say or do anything to get that. Be careful that you don't do that.